25% of Americans reach 5 figures in savings. Then something strange happens. Most of them just stop. Not because they run out of discipline. Because nobody ever tells them what comes next. If you have ever hit a savings milestone and felt like it should feel different but it didn't, stay right here. Today we reveal the one mindset shift that separates people who grow past $10,000 from people who protect it to death. No intro. Let's get into it. Here's the rule that changes everything, and we are going to repeat it because it matters that much. Below $10,000, your only job is protection. Above $10,000, your job completely changes to deployment. Most people never get that memo. That one failure to switch jobs is the entire reason the money stops growing. Stay with me, because the next few minutes will change how you look at every dollar sitting in your account right now. For years, the advice was simple. Save more. Cut more. Protect more. And it worked right up until it didn't. Below $10,000, that advice is gospel. Every dollar you cut goes straight into the account, and the account grows exactly as fast as your discipline allows. That is why the advice feels true. It is true for that season. It built the exact habit that got you to this milestone in the first place. But above $10,000, the same advice quietly stops helping and starts costing you. We call this the $10,000 trap. The $10,000 trap is the exact moment your protection instinct stops being an asset and starts being a liability, and almost nobody notices the moment it happens. There is a second myth hiding underneath the first one. The belief that there is a magic number out there that will finally make you feel safe. $10,000 was supposed to be that number. So was $5,000 before that. So will $50,000 feel, if the job of the money never changes. The number was never the problem. The job description was. I know this sounds like I am telling you your discipline was wrong. I am not. Let me earn this. Because the two people who show you exactly how this plays out are not hypothetical. They are almost every viewer watching this video right now. Meet Jordan and Marcus. Both 32 years old. Both earning $68,000 a year. Both just hit $10,000 saved for the very first time. Same age. Same income. Same milestone. Same night, probably, staring at the same number on a phone screen feeling something they could not quite name. Jordan has been building toward this number for almost 4 years. He packs lunch every single day. He checks his balance most mornings, the way some people check the weather. That habit is not a flaw. It is the exact discipline that took him from $500 to $10,000, one careful choice at a time. Jordan does what got him here. He cuts his expenses harder. He adds more to his savings account. He protects every single dollar like it is the last one he will ever have. Marcus built his $10,000 the same way. Same lunches packed. Same careful choices. Nothing about his habits looks different from Jordan's, right up until this exact week. What changes is one conversation. A coworker mentions offhand that her savings account earns almost nothing, and asks Marcus what his money is actually doing for him. Marcus does not have an answer. That question sits with him for 3 days, which is longer than he expected it to. Marcus notices something shifted. He looks at the same $10,000 and asks a different question. What should this money actually be doing? That is the entire difference between them. One question. Nothing else changes. Not income, not effort, not discipline. And that one question is why, 30 years from now, their lives will not look remotely the same. Here is how you know if you are living Jordan's version of this story right now. Sign 1. Your $10,000 is still sitting in a basic savings account earning 0.01%, the exact same account you opened when you had $500 in it. That account did its job when you had nothing. It has no idea what to do with $10,000, and neither, right now, do you. Sign 2. You are saving aggressively, but you are not investing, because losing this money feels unthinkable after how hard you worked to get it. That fear is not weakness. It is the most rational feeling in the world for someone who just spent years building this number from nothing. Sign 3. You hit $10,000, you celebrated for a weekend, and then you went right back to the exact same behaviors, with no plan for what happens next. The milestone came and went, and the money just sat there, waiting for a decision nobody ever made. Sign 4. Spending any of it, even for something you actually planned for, feels like betrayal, even a car repair or a planned trip you budgeted for months ago. That guilt is a signal, not a virtue. It usually means the money has no job, so every withdrawal feels like it is undoing years of work instead of fulfilling the plan that money was meant for. This is not rare. According to the latest financial wellness data coming out in 2026, roughly a quarter of Americans hold five-figure savings, while the median emergency fund balance nationwide sits closer to $5,000. Most people who reach a milestone like $10,000 hover right around it for years, not because they cannot save, but because nobody taught them the next move. So let's talk about the next move, and let's talk about it in real numbers, because feelings do not build wealth. Decisions do. Jordan keeps his $10,000 exactly where it is. 0.01% interest. He keeps adding $200 a month, faithfully, every single month. By year 5, Jordan has about $22,000. Almost all of it came from his own contributions, and the account has barely noticed the interest at all. By year 10, Jordan has about $34,200. Almost every dollar of that came from his own contributions. Growth added almost nothing. By year 15, Jordan has about $46,000. He has now been saving for 15 straight years, and the account has grown by roughly the same amount his own deposits added. By year 20, Jordan has about $58,400. Still mostly his own money, working exactly as hard as it did the day he deposited it. Which is to say, not at all. By year 30, Jordan has about $82,600. 30 years of discipline, and the money never once got promoted. Now here is Marcus, same starting line, same $10,000, same $68,000 salary, same $200 a month. Marcus keeps $2,000 as an emergency reserve. He moves the remaining $8,000 into an index fund earning an average of 10% a year, and he keeps adding his $200 a month. Here is the mechanic behind this, in plain terms. Every year, Marcus earns growth not just on his contributions, but on the growth from every year before it. That is the entire secret behind compound growth. It does nothing for the first few years. Then it quietly starts doing most of the work for you. By year 5, Marcus has about $26,000. Barely ahead of Jordan so far, which is exactly why most people give up on investing right around here. By year 10, Marcus has about $62,000. Same contributions as Jordan. Nearly double the result. By year 15, Marcus has about $110,000. The gap has stopped being a small lead and started becoming a different financial life. By year 20, Marcus has about $189,000. The gap is no longer closed. It is not even the same conversation anymore. By year 30, Marcus has about $508,000. Same starting number. Same income. Same discipline. One decision, made once, 30 years ago. The gap at year 30 is approximately $425,400. From the exact same $10,000. The only difference was what job that money was given. Someone watching this is already thinking, but what if the market drops? It does, some years, and that is exactly why the emergency reserve stays untouched in cash. The $2,000 Marcus kept in cash means a bad market year is an inconvenience, not a crisis. He never has to sell during a dip, because he never needed that money to begin with. Let that sit for a second, because this is the part people usually rush past. This is the wealth metrics, and here is our channel rule in one sentence. $10,000 is not a finish line. It is a starting gun. Everything after it is decided by what job you give the money, not by how hard you protect it. Now, before you think this video is about to tell you that Jordan did something wrong, it is not. Jordan did everything right, for the season he was in. Scarcity mindset is not a flaw. It is exactly what got him to $10,000 in the first place, and it deserves real credit. If you grew up watching money disappear, watching accounts hit zero, watching a paycheck vanish before the next one arrived, protecting every dollar is not irrational. It is earned survival behavior. That instinct kept you safe when safety was not guaranteed. It is not a personality flaw. It is a skill you built because you had to. The problem was never the mindset. The problem is nobody ever told Jordan when it was safe to turn it down, even for part of the money, even carefully. This channel will never tell you your discipline was wrong. The wealth metric says your discipline was right. The timing just changed, and nobody sent the update. So let's send it right now. Here are the 3 switches that move you from Jordan's story to Marcus's story, starting today. Switch 1. Move your emergency fund, and only your emergency fund, 3 months of expenses, into a high-yield savings account earning around 4%. Same safety. Same access. Roughly 400 times the return you were getting on that money sitting idle at 0.01%. Some people hesitate here because moving money feels like risk. It is not. The money stays in cash, insured, and just as reachable, it simply finally earns something. This is not a risk decision. This is a should have done this years ago decision. Switch 2. Define your deployment number. That is the amount sitting above your emergency fund that currently has no job at all. That number should be 0 by the end of this month. Not because you need to spend it, because it needs an assignment. For most people at this stage, that deployment number is somewhere between $5,000 and $15,000. It is not a huge amount. It is just an unassigned one. Switch 3. Automate one investment. It can be $100 a month into a low-cost index fund. The amount matters far less than what it does to your identity. The moment that automation turns on, you are no longer someone who only saves. You are someone who deploys. That single shift is the entire video. Do these 3 switches in order. Emergency fund first, deployment number second, automation third. Each one takes less time than the last, and each one builds on the one before it. None of this requires a bigger income. Jordan and Marcus earn the exact same $68,000 a year, every single year, for 30 straight years. Let's go back to Jordan and Marcus one more time. 30 years later. Same starting line. Same discipline. Same income growth over the years. The only difference between them was one question, asked once, at $10,000. What should this money be doing? Jordan answered it with protection, because that question felt too risky to ask honestly, and honestly, nobody blamed him for that. Marcus answered it with a plan, and $425,400 later, the answer to that one question was the entire difference. The wealth metrics rule stands. $10,000 is not the finish line. It is the starting gun. What you do in the next 30 days decides which race you are actually running. If you are the kind of person who wants real numbers instead of noise, this channel exists for you. Subscribe, not because we promise you a topic, but because this is who you already are.